Kalaratna given by VNR Chaitanya Trust for her immense services in reviving Indian art forms. She extends her services at Sri Satya Sai Seva Kendram, where more than 100 students learn Bharatanatyam from her free of cost. Now, Bharatanatyam performance.
నమస్కారం. శుభ సాయంత్రం అందరికీ. పదం జావలి అనే వినూత్న సబ్జెక్ట్ తోటి వాగ్దేవి ఆర్ట్స్ అకాడమీ వారు మంచి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నారు. నృత్య సాంప్రదాయంలో పదాలకి జావళికి ఉన్న ప్రాముఖ్యత అందరికీ తెలిసిందే. ఈనాడు నేను ప్రదర్శించబోయే అంశము స్మరసుందరాంగుని సరి ఎవ్వరే అనే జావళి. దీని రచన ధర్మపురి సుబ్బరాయ గారు చేశారు. దీన్ని ఫరాస్ రాగంలో ఆది తాళంలో సమకూర్చారు. నాయిక లక్షణం వచ్చేసి స్వాధీన భర్తృక. తను తన నాయకుని ఎందు పూర్తి విశ్వాసంతో కలిగి ఉంటుంది ఈ నాయిక. తనని ఎంతో గొప్పగా చూపించుకునేయటమే కాక తన భర్త యందు సంపూర్ణ విశ్వాసాలతోటి ఉంటుంది. ఇందులో నేను ప్రదర్శించబోయే జావళిలో నాయిక నా భర్త వంటి వాడు ఈ లోకంలో ఎవరైనా ఉన్నాడా అని చాలా ఆనందంగా చెప్తూ ఉంటుంది. ఆయన నేను ఏం మాట్లాడినా సరే నాకు అడ్డు చెప్పరు, అంతటి మంచివాడు. అలాగే పరస్త్రీల్ని ఏ స్త్రీనైనా సరే కన్నెత్తి కూడా చూడడు, అంతటి మంచివాడు నా భర్త. ఆయన కోసం నేను ఏ చిన్న పని చేసినా సరే చాలా మెచ్చుకుంటారు అని తన ఆనందాన్ని నలుగురితో పంచుకుంటుంది ఈ నాయిక. స్వాధీన పత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు చూడబోయేది స్మరసుందరాంగుని సరి ఎవ్వరే, ఫరాస్ రాగం ఆది తాళంలో. దీనిని పాడిన వారు శ్రీ వత్స గారు.
సుందరంగుని సరి ఎవ్వరే, స్మర సుందరంగుని సరి ఎవ్వరే, స్మర సుందరంగుని సరి ఎవ్వరే, స్మర సుందరంగుని సరి ఎవ్వరే, Koordinone, Vaziro Amire, Parabodharangore Hariyovare Parabodharangore Hariyovare Sarasakodi Vasiru Amire Parabodharangore Hariyovare Sarasakodi Vasiru Amire Parabodharangore Hariyovare Hariyovare ఆడిన మాటకు అట్టము బల్గడే నాడిన మాటకు అట్టము బల్గడే ఆడిన మాటకు అట్టము బల్గడే నాడిన మాటకు అట్టము బల్గడే చెడియలదు కనుల చూడడే ఏ చెడియలదు కనుల చూడడే చెడియలదు చెడియలను కనుల చూడరే ఏ చెడియలను కనుల చూడరే ఏ చెడియలను కనుల చూడరే స్మరతోదరమూరి హరియువరే కరకోటిలోన వసీరు అమీరే పరమోదరమూరి హరియువరే యోవరే సరి యోవరే వినులకు ఇంపుగా వీణవాయుతి వినులకు ఇంపుగా వీణవాయుతి వేణిని పాడ సభాచుకురే వేణిని పాడ సభాచుకురే వినులకు ఇంపుగా వీణవాయుతి వినులకు ఇంపుగా వీణవాయుతి వేణిని పాడ సభాచుకురే స్మరతోదరమూరి హరియువరే సరసకోటిలోన వసీరు అమీరే పరమోదరమూరి హరియువరే యోవరే యోవరే ధరణిలో అతి స్వల్పముదారతి దర్పపురాధీశుడైన ధరణిలో అతి స్వల్పముదారతి దర్పపురాధీశుడైన స్మరతోదరమూరి హరియువరే సరసకోటిలోన వసీరు అమీరే పరమోదరమూరి హరియువరే సరియువరే సరియువరే స్మరసుందరాగురే సరియువరే సరియువరే
Now, we'll be witnessing Andhra Natyam performance by Guru Miss Sunila Gollapudi. Miss Sunila Gollapudi started learning dance at the tender age of 5. As a disciple of Sri Guru Kalakrishna Garu, she trained specially in Navajanardana Parijatam and Golla Kalapam and teaches and performs all over the world under the not-for-profit banner Nartanasala. She was from the first batch of students to complete diploma in Andhra Natyam. She is a trained Carnatic singer and Veena artist. She wishes to contribute her humble contributions to the field of dance and also do her best in being the face of Andhra Natyam globally. Now, performance by Miss Sunila Gollapudi.
Namaskaram. Today, I'll be presenting to you a beautiful padam by Dharmapuri Subramanya Iyer. Kommarovani Kinta Biduve. This padam is composed in Kamas Ragam and set to Altalam. One of the important Nayikas represented in this padam is Samani Nayika. As you all know, Samani Nayika is one of the Nayikas who does not stick to one man. And one of the avasthas that's represented here is Khandita. So she fights with her lover and she's surprised by his behavior. Kommarovani kento biduve, pilachina palakuru means she's talking to her Sakhi and telling, look at him, he's so proud, egoistic. I'm calling him, he's not even responding to me. How do I react to this? What do you want me to do now? So here you go. Kommarovani kento biduve.
కుమ్మరోవాది కెంత బిగువే పిలచిన కొన్నాడే విధియుదునే కుమ్మరోవాది కెంత బిగువే పిలచిన పలుక కొన్నాడే విధియుదునే కొమ్మరోవాది కెంత బిగువే పిలచిన పలుక కొన్నాడే విధియుదునే కొమ్మరోవాది ఎంత 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 బిగువే పిలచిన పలుక కొన్నాడే విధియుదునే కొమ్మరోవాది ఎంత బిగువే పిలచిన 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 పలుక కొన్నాడే విధియుదునే కొమ్మరోవాది ఎంత బిగువే సదయుడను చూయదూరేగి మాట్లాడితే 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 తిరిగి ಎಂತ ಬಿಗುವೆ ಅಂತರಂಗೂಡಲಿ ಎದುರೇಗಿ ತೆಚ್ಚಿವಾನಿಗೆ ಅಂತರಂಗೂಡಲಿ ಎದುರೇಗಿ ತೆಚ್ಚಿವಾನಿಗೆ ಅಂತರಂಗೂಡಲಿ ಎದುರೇಗಿ ತೆಚ್ಚಿವಾನಿಗೆ ಅಂತರಂಗೂಡಲಿ ಎದುರೇಗಿ ತೆಚ್ಚಿವಾನಿಗೆ ಅಂತರಂಗೂಡಲಿ ಎದುರೇಗಿ తెచ్చివానికి ఆకు మడు పూలివ్వ ఆకు మడు పూలివ్వ ఆకు మడు పూలివ్వ రాను కొమ్మనేనే ఆకు మడు పూలివ్వ 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 రాను కొమ్మనేనే కొమ్మరావాని ఎంత బిగువే పిలచిన పరుగకున్నానేవి చేయుదునే కొమ్మరావాని ఎంత బిగువే తాండవ కృష్ణుడు తగిన వల్ల కూడనా 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 దారిలోన నన్ను తాడిపోయేనే దారిలోన నన్ను తాడిపోయేనే దారిలోన నన్ను తాడిపోయేనే కొమ్మరావాని ఎంత బిగువే పిలచిన పరుగకున్నావేవి చేయుదునే కొమ్మరావాని ఎంత బిగువే
Now we have a Kathak performance by Srimati Ayushi Verma. Guru Srimati Ayushi Verma is a well-known Kathak exponent of Lucknow Gharana. She holds a master's from Bhatkande Sangeet Vidyapeeth and performed on more than 200 stages in India. She has wide experience in teaching in this field and now holds the Kathak section of IIPA Bahrain as head of the department. A Kathak performance by Guru Srimati Ayushi Verma.
Namaste and good evening, everyone. I am Ayushi Verma from Bahrain. I am a Kathak teacher here. Today, I will present acting that is called Abhinay part of Kathak dance. I am going to present Thumri for you all. Let me tell something about Thumri. Thumri is North India's most popular light classical song form, developed during the 19th century at the court of Lucknow's ruler Wajid Ali Shah. It has a very strong association with Kathak, North India's main classical dance style, of which the Nawab Wajid Ali Shah was also a leading exponent. The text is romantic or devotional in nature. The lyrics are usually in Uttar Pradesh dialects of Hindi called Avadhi and Brij Bhasha. Thumri is characterized by its sensuality and by a greater flexibility with the raga. Thumri is also used as a generic name for some other even lighter forms such as Dadra, Hori, Savan, Jhula, Chaiti, even though each of them have their own structure and content, and they have their own beauty. In Kathak, we present Abhinaya with facial expressions, with hand movements, with less foot movements also. So today I represent Thumri, that is called Sab Ban Than Aayi Shyam Pyari Re, written by Pandit Bindadeen Maharaj Ji. Now I'll present Sab Ban Than Aayi Shyam Pyari Re.
बिंदी भाल श्रवण कुंडल गले माला बिंदी भाल श्रवण कुंडल गले माला बिंदी भाल श्रवण कुंडल गले माला मुख दामिनी सीताम कत्र जाल मतमारी सपवन आएशा प्यारी सपवन आएशा प्यारी
Now we'll be viewing Guru Sri Perini Pavan Kumar's Andhra Natyam performance. Guru Perini Pavan Kumar is a well-known Perini and Andhra Natyam artist and the disciple of Padma Shri Guru Nataraja Ramakrishna Garu and Sri Kala Krishna Garu. He specializes in Shiva Tandavam and Ardhanarishwaram, a unique combination of male and female principles of life. He performed in various events and festivals across the globe and holds titles Yuva Kalaratna and Natya Kumara. He also received appreciations from famous gurus. He is rated Grade B artist by Doordarshan. He completed diploma in Andhra Natyam and teaches at Sri Bhaktaramadasa Government College of Music and Dance, presenting Perini Pavan Kumar's Andhra Natyam performance.
Namaskar. Hello everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to perform in this event alongside few of the talented and senior artists of our times. I will be presenting a Javali Chalu Ni Bayyaru composition of Pattabhiramaya Garu on H. Shamaraju Vadiyar 10. This particular Javali is written in Nayaka Prospectives, which is quite rarely available as we find the Nayaka compositions in large number. In this Shringara-oriented Javali, the Nayaka says to the Nayaka to stop the love teasing and come to him. He whines about how she is laughing at the viraha experienced by the Nayaka. This Javali set in Danyasi Ragam and Aditalam. I thank Sri Srikantam Nagendra Shastri Garu for giving me the approval to use his recording, which is available on his YouTube channel SNS Sirs Students. This Javali was choreographed exclusively for this event by me under the guidance of Kala Krishna Garu.
Bala nivu chala Bala nivu chala Kulu kuchu palu kuchu Bala nivu chala Kulu kuchu palu kuchu Umalika vesiti vela Umalika vesiti vela పూమాలిక వేసితి వేళాయనిన చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము లీల లేల కన్ను సైగ చేసే వేళ చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము లీల లేల కన్ను సైగ చేసే వేళ చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము నీ వయ్యారము నీ వయ్యారము బాల నీవు చాల పులుకోచు పలుకోచు 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 మాలిక వేసితి వేళ పూమాలిక వేసితి వేళ పూమాలిక వేసితి వేళాయనిన చాలు చాలు పూమాలిక వేసితి వేళాయనిన చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము 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 కాలకరణ మేళనే కాలకరణ మేళనే కాలకరణ మేళనే తరుణి పాలు మాలికలేలనే కాలకరణ మేళనే తరుణి పాలు మాలికలేలనే నాలో విరగ భవంబుల చూపించి నాలో విరగ భవంబుల చూపించి నాలో విరగ భవంబుల చూపించి లోలాచి నన్ను చూచి లోలాచి నన్ను చూచి ముసి మోసిన ఊట చాలు చాలు ముసి మోసిన ఊట చాలు చాలు ముసి మోసిన ఊట చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము మరుకేళి గూడు మని నాదో మరుకేళి గూడు మని నాదో మరుకేళి గూడు మని నాతో మరు మాటలాడకోమని మరుకేళి గూడు మని నాతో మరు మాటలాడకోమని మరుకేళి గూడు మని నాతో మరు మాటలాడకోమని సరసోడైన ఈతాలవనే సోని సరసోడైన ఈతాలవనే సోని సరసోడైన ఈతాలవనే సోని సరసోడైన ఈతాలవనే సోని మెరుగు సొమ్ములుగాసు మెరుగు సొమ్ములుగాసు కాసు మెరుగు సొమ్ములుగాసు లడుగే బ్రట చాలు చాలు మెరుగు సొమ్ములుగా సొల్లడుగే వట చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము లీల కన్ను సైగ చేసే వేళ చాలు చాలు నీ వయ్యారము నీ వయ్యారము వయ్యారము వయ్యారము
With Angarnacham performance by Guru Perini Pavan Kumar, we come to the end of our dance performances. Now, our second guest speaker, Dr. Anupama Kailash, will give us a detailed insight of Padam and Javalis. Dr. Anupama Kailash is a senior practitioner of Kuchipudi and Vilasini Natyam with a PhD in dance from University of Hyderabad. She has given more than 800 performances in India and abroad. Along with performances, she has given many paper presentations, lecture demonstrations, and workshops on a wide variety of topics. She is recipient of numerous scholarships and fellowships. And she also authored two books based on Telugu Pada poets Annamacharya and Kshetraya. She runs Anubhava Center for Performing Arts and trains students for solo and group performances. Now, I request Dr. Anupama Kailash to talk about Padam and Javalis.
Namaskaram. This is Dr. Anupama Kailash, and I congratulate Vagdevi Arts Academy for this unique initiative where the entire festival of 2 days is dedicated to Javali and Padam compositions, and that too presented in several dance forms. I'm here to talk about the Javali genre today, a little about the history and some of the popular compositions in the Devadasi traditions as well as in Kuchipudi. So, without much ado, let me go right into the subject, which I will be reading a little bit for you. After the popularity of the Padam genre, like the Kshetraya Padams, Sarangapani, Sabhapataya, and so many other Pada writers whom we all know, the genre became very favored by many poets, the Padakavita genre, and then Padams and Javalis became very popular as compositions. The Javali genre was existent even during the time of the Tanjavur Nayaka and the Bhosle kings. We have already seen this before, but the Javali attained a lot of popularity mainly during the second half of the 19th century, and it was performed extensively in the courts of kings, in marriages, in auspicious ceremonies, in the houses of nobility, or minor kings, or rulers of princely states or samsthanams. The Devadasis were very adept at performing the Javalis in special chamber concerts which were called Mezwani, which evolved from the Persian word mezban, which means to host. These Javalis came into the Kuchipudi tradition primarily after the evolution of the solo format and the inclusion of women artists in the format of Kuchipudi. Most of the Javalis performed in Kuchipudi today are in fact compositions made during the time of the Tanjavur kings or much later in the areas of Madras Presidency. Some compositions are of the more contemporary Pada and Javali composers like Dasu Sri Ramulu or Vidyala Narayana Swami. Scholars feel that the Javali is primarily derived from musical forms like Chavike, Chavadi, and so on. The Karnataka origin of the word Javali has been discussed a lot, and they've said that this is a form of court poetry that was already prevalent in the princely courts of Mysore. It was called Jevadi in that, and these were considered to be erotic, suggestive songs based primarily on erotic themes. The references to the Javali are found from the time of the Vodiyar rulers of Mysore, like Krishnaraya Vodiyar and Chamaraja Vodiyar. Nevertheless, this composition found its way into the Kuchipudi repertoire. Therefore, we will discuss some of the major contributors to this genre. Many musicians of the yesteryears actually popularized the song format of the Javali, and some of them being primarily from the Devadasi communities, like the Yanadi sisters, Lalitamba, Jayamma, Mailapur Gauriammal, Dhanakoti Veena Dhanammal, to whose lineage the legendary Balasaraswati belongs. Chittur Subramanya Pillai, the grandson of Veena Dhanammal, T. Shankaran, etc., many of them popularized this format. Therefore, there are references to the Javali even during the time of the Maharaja of Travancore, Swati Tirunal. It is considered that he was one of the earliest composers of the Javali format. But upon further inspection, some of the scholars have opined that these were more like Madhyamakala Padams rather than like Javalis. But some of the early Javali compositions are attributed to Swati Tirunal, and especially Saramaina Matalu, Chalu Chalura, because of the Padmanabha mudra in this. Similarly, two of the most popular Javali composers of all time were Ghanam Sinaya and Pachimiriam Adi Appaya. Now, both belong to the period of the Bhosle kings of Tanjore. And many of the Javalis danced today in Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi are either the compositions of Patnam Subramanya Iyer or Dharmapuri Subbaraya. Another more contemporary poet whose Padams and Javalis have found themselves into the Kuchipudi repertoire is Dasu Sriramulu, who composed a large number of Padams and Javalis. Other than these, we have a number of Javali composers, like we had Pachimiriam Adi Appaya, and then we also have composers of the Tanjore kings themselves, like Vijayaraghavan Nayaka. Shahaji has also composed some padams which are very similar to the Javali format. Patnam Subramanya Iyer, he was a disciple of Tyagaraja's disciple, and he has also composed some very interesting Javalis. And we find that one of the famous padams, like Appudu Manasul in Niluchanate, is actually expanded into the Javali format. And some Dharmapuri Subbaraya, that's another interesting composer. He was a prolific composer of Javalis, and he was his muse, Veena Dhanammal, was his muse. And Gurujada Appara actually wrote in one of his diaries that any music in comparisons to Dhanammal will always fall short. The Zamindar of Vijayanagaram and the king of Mysore, Chamaraja Vodiyar, the 10th, they were very dear to Subbaraya. And some feel that the epic work of Gurujada Apparao, Kanya Shulkam, and the bits and pieces of the Javalis recited by the main protagonist Girisham were probably influenced by Subbarayar's songs. He was inspired to compose two of his most famous Javalis Smarasundaranguni, and Pranasakhudi to Chesene because of the support and encouragement of Veena Dhanammal. Marubahariki Tala Lenura, he composed this Javali upon the request of Dhanammal's daughter, Lakshmi Ratnamma. He composed two Javalis for the well-known actress of those times known as Kumbakonam Balamani. These Javalis were Emandune Muddu Balamani and Era Tagunatara. So these were some of the famous ones, and these Javalis have been set to dance in Bharatanatyam and in the Kuchipudi styles. But some of the most popular ones which are danced in Kuchipudi are Entati Kuluke, Intiro, Kantuni Kippudu, and another Pranasakudi to Chesene. Then there is some people have also danced Apaduruku Lonaitide, but that composition was more popular in Bharatanatyam and gained a lot of popularity in the Bharatanatyam concerts, repertoire concerts. The famous Javali of Dasu Sri Ramulu, Tattara Padanela, entered the Kuchipudi repertoire in one of the earlier stages of the solo format. And we can see that Kommaro Vani Kenta Biguve and songs like this actually also have the Devadasi context because of the usage of words like Samarati, Uparati, and so on. Vidyala Tirupati Narayana Swami, he was one of the famous Javali composers of the Vijayanagar Samrajya time. And Vagaladi Bodhanalaku, Valachitiva Swami is a very famous Javali of his. So other than this, we have Chittur Subramanya Pillai, we have Sangeetam Venkataramanaya, then we have the Mantri Pragada Bhujangarao, Chinnaya Pillai of Tanjavur, Dasu Sri Ramulu, as we've already discussed, the Singaracharya brothers, Tachuri Singaracharya, and Chinna Tachuri Singaracharya and Peda Tachuri Singaracharya. So some of these very well-known Javali composers. Now, another interesting aspect here, which I wanted to share with you, is the fact that other than the popular Javalis that are danced in Kuchipudi, during the time of the British rule, some of the Devadasis were commissioned to perform in elite gatherings where the officers of the East India Company were also invited. And these composers made innovative compositions in English and Telugu for the entertainment of these officers. Hence, these Javalis acquired the name the Company Javali. These were usually composed in the Western major scale, corresponding to our Shankarabharanam. They were simple and staccato in nature. And one of the most famous ones, which we all know about, is Karur Shivaramaya's Oh My Lovely Lalana, Elane Pommanti. Another famous one is My Dear Come Varuvai, Ivela. So there are three languages. There is English, there is Tamil, and there is Telugu here. The list of Javalis and Javali composers is endless. But we have discussed some of the most popular Javalis that are in practice. But there are some popular Javalis which were recorded and were found in the gramophone collections of art collectors and critics like V.A.K. Rangarao Garu's collection, like Kommaro Vanikenta, Modi Jese Velara, Mohanangi, Shivadiksha Paruralanu, which is also a very, very well-known composition, Cheragu Mase, Na Hrudaya, Palakamuna, Magadochi Piliche, Emo Chelia, and Innalla Vare Napai. Now, the Javali and the Padam were obviously modes of conveying different types of heroes, heroines, and had high Shringara content. It obviously entertained the members of the royalty, nobility, as well as the laity or the common man. Hence, the Javali compositions were richly applauded and patronized. Some Vagyakaras chose not to use this medium, but created their own masterpieces using the Padam medium. But Javali still remains to be one of the most popular mediums for the depiction of Abhinaya. And the primary difference between the Padam and the Javali is the racy and the fast tempo of the Javalis. Some of them incorporated very short charanams of just 2 lines, and they were metrically, it is like Padasahitya, but in the performance aspect, the Javalis were always performed a little more as light pieces of choreography as compared to the Padam. So, over the centuries, the Javali has evolved and developed, and today we see it in several formats. And we have similar compositions in other styles also, like the Tumri. And we see the influence of the Javali on Persian compositions, on some of the Dharwad based compositions, and there are so much give and take between the different composers of light Shingara based songs that we see the influence of Javali in many places. So that is primarily a little bit about the Javali. Of course, there is a lot more that we can discuss. But as of now, I think I've given you a basic introduction to the progress and evolution of the Javali as well as some of the important composers of the Javali. I wish this festival the best of luck and hope that it will be a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. With profound knowledge of Padams and Javalis and enthralling performances of prominent gurus, we come to the end of today's event. Vagdevi Arts Academy sincerely thanks Guru Sri Kalakrishna Garu for supporting us in this 2-day dance festival and taking out time to give us an elaborate description of Padams and Javalis. We thank our guest speakers, Srimati Vaijayati Kashi, Professor Aruna Bhikshu, and Dr. Anupama Kailash for sharing their knowledge with us. It's a treasure. We specially thank Gurus Srimati Sridevi Unni, Srimati Padma Mohan, Sri Venugopal, Srimati Vani Ramana, Srimati Rajashri, Dr. Rama Devi, Srimati Radha Mohan, Srimati Sunila Gollapuri, Srimati Ayushi Verma, and Sri Perini Pavan Kumar for acknowledging our humble request and performing in this event, though they have very busy schedules. Thanks to all the backstage gurus and dancers who helped us in this event. Thanks to Srimati Pratima Shashidhar for her melodious devotional song. Thanks to Srikantam Nagendra Shastri Garu. Thanks to our technical team for their support. And thank you, Nartana, for designing the invitation beautifully. Thanks to all the art lovers who witnessed this event on their social media pages. We promise to come back with many such events with the support of gurus, artists, and all the art lovers. We thank all the